Trump's border czar says the deportation plan will start in Chicago. The story came out a few days ago, and the pushback by these liberal Democratic mayors has been really entertaining to follow. Let's get into it, because they're just all worked up. Oh no, millions of people deported. But you know, if you're okay with not deporting illegal aliens that are committing crimes in your community, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's get into it. Here we go.
Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, threatens to put the Democratic mayor of Denver in jail. This comes after the mayor, who's my next guest, talked about resisting federal forces trying to carry out mass deportation, saying, quote, more than us having the Denver Police Department stationed at the county line to keep them out, you would have 50,000 Denverites there. It's like the Tiananmen Square moment with the rose.
What in the hell was he talking about here? What was he talking about? He was just, spewing some absolute nonsense. You're going to have 50,000 Denverites? No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just not. This isn't Tiananmen Square. This is nothing close to Tiananmen Square. This isn't that at all. But, this is Mike Johnston, and this is how you get Denver to be in the position they are, by hiring progressive leaders like this that just basically run train on your community. And if you're okay with that, keep voting progressive, because I'm sure it'll eventually work out somehow, some way.
And the gun. Homan firing back on Fox News.
Me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. We're going to enforce the law, period. And they're not going to stop us.
That's fair.
All right, joining me now, the Denver Mayor, Mike Johnston. So Mayor Johnston, you heard what he said. You got something in common. You're willing to go to jail. He's willing to put you there. He says he's going to enforce the law. Are you willing to go to jail over this?
I think there are thoughtful ways to solve this problem. If they want to focus on violent criminals, we would be happy to help support pursuing, arresting, and deporting them. We've helped past administrations. We'd do that again. If they want to focus on adding more judicial capacity so folks with asylum claims can have those cases heard more quickly, we would support that. What we're not going to do is support deploying the 101st Airborne into American cities to pull 10-year-old kids out of their classrooms in handcuffs. I think that is immoral. That's unconstitutional.
And nobody has said that that's a thing. Nobody has said that that's a thing. Nobody has stated. There isn't a single article out there. There isn't a single interview. There isn't a single video that says this is what we're doing. We're going to pull the Air Force and we're going to start arresting 10-year-olds mid-class. So, just bringing that up, all that's doing is stoking fear unnecessarily. So this is what you get from a weak Democratic mayor who's trying to incite some type of pushback, because that's all he's got, because he is known that he basically let illegals run train on his own city. And how's that working out? How's that working out in Aurora? Yeah.
Constitutional, and that's un-American. And so I think if that's what they're proposing, they will find us resisting. If they want to partner on common sense solutions, we'll always be happy to partner.
So if Trump were to order ICE agents, for example, right, Immigration's Custom Enforcement agents, to go into the state of Colorado to enforce federal law, would you order, Mayor Johnston, your police department to resist them? Or are you speaking at this point more of just an act of, protest resistance? Or would this actually be an order to your police department?
Yeah, we won't use our law enforcement, and we don't think we need to. That's not what we're after. I think America's not after another conflict on this issue. They're after a way to find pragmatic solutions to this problem. And so, to quote Lincoln, we don't think here that might makes right. We think that right makes might. And so if they are going to send the U.S. Army or the Navy SEALs into Denver to pursue folks to pull them off the job at hotels or
the Navy SEALs. We're going to pull the Navy SEALs into Denver. What in the actual F are you talking about? Like, honestly, what are you talking about? That is just some gibberish. And that's what these mayors do. They speak gibberish, just gibberish. This is why CNN in recent rating wars was less than the Food Network, because you've got folks coming on here like her saying these, throwing up these hypothetical situations that aren't based in reality. Nobody is saying the SEALs are coming in. That is absolutely absurd. They're going after the criminal element, illegal aliens who are committing crimes against U.S. citizens. Weird. They're not sending the SEALs in. They're not sending the Air Force in. These people are just delusional. That's literally what they are, delusional.
Restaurants where they're working or pull kids off the soccer field. I think we will see Denverites and folks around the country who will nonviolently resist that, because I think that doesn't represent our values and doesn't represent the Constitution.
Even here in Seattle, our mayor did this whole thing. We're going to protect those who are, downtrodden. We're going to protect the LGBT community. It's like they just have to tick this box of, yep, I made a comment about them and here we go. We're going to support you. But what they're not doing is they are not supporting their own community by kicking the illegals out. What they're saying is, no, we're not going to deport anybody for anything. They give lip service to the idea of deporting the criminal element, but they don't really mean it. They're not going to help, because these are Democrat-run cities. And they believe that these illegals are, the answer to their solution, because otherwise they wouldn't have just brought them in droves. I'm sanctuary city. Yeah, right. Here's a comment by one of the legislators. What he's saying is invoking the same kind of fear that I've been seeing in the Department of Homeland Security for the last 2 years. Ramirez said, of course, they're going to try to target communities that understand, like Chicago, that immigrants have contributed to our economy. They're confusing immigrants that are here legally or have an asylum claim that are working with those that are not here legally, don't have an asylum claim, and are committing crimes and are known criminals. They're trying to put the two side by side and make them one. And that's just not the same. When asked about Trump's plans to end birthright citizenship, Ramirez said, I would argue to say it's un-American. It's absolutely unconstitutional. What has been un-American and what has been unconstitutional is to allow 8, 10, 15, 20 million illegals into the country. Got 500,000 underage children in the United States that we can't work out where they are. Where are they? I don't know. We're not really sure. We don't really have a good idea. We don't have a full count on where all those kids are. Are they being sex trafficked? Not really sure. Are they, what's happened to them? I mean, where are they? They're hosts, they're sponsors. Where's their folks? Where's that check-in? What happened there? Oh, we don't really know. 500,000 kids. Got 500,000 kids in this country that we don't know where they are. That's un-American. That's un-American, because you know so many of those kids. I mean, there's been a big spike for underage girls, females. Been a spike for the demand because it's there. You've got people that want to buy them. Sex trafficking all day long has gone through the roof. It's gone through the roof. And a lot of that has to do with the illegals coming in. Tren de Aragua, they do drugs and they do human trafficking, specifically sex trafficking, because it's like a 2-for-1. It's like when you order DoorDash and then you can get some extra stuff from 7-Eleven for no extra price. It's 2 different delivery, people. And so with Tren de Aragua, you've got the sex trafficking, the young Venezuelan girls that come here that need to work off a debt because the coyotes, whatever mafia from Mexico brought them into the country. They've built up a big debt. They got to pay that off, and they pay it off on their back a lot of their times or on their knees. Sorry to be graphic, but that is the actual truth. Anything else is just taking a situation and trying to gloss over it. So you've got all these young ladies being sex trafficked. And so when you get, guys that want to partake in that, hey, got a young cutie for you and you want some drugs, that's the 2-for-1. That's the DoorDash, extra DoorDasher special. You've got 6 more minutes and you could order a Slurpee from 7-Eleven and get there with your DoorDash order. Oh, I need that in my life. Maybe I'll get some donuts too. Give me the glazed kind. Give me the original. Ramirez said that she is prepared to fight along with the mayor and governor to protect communities on the city and state levels. From what? From the deportation of criminals? You going to protect them from that? Because I am not seeing in any way, shape, or form this going after citizens who are contributing to the economy. I am not seeing that happen. J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois, pushes back on Trump border czar promises of mass deportations. I mean, what a knucklehead. These guys are just such knuckleheads.
Governor Pritzker's remarks just days after new border czar Tom Homan visited Chicago with promises to first deport criminals who are not documented.
A convicted violent criminal should not be in the United States, if you ask me. A convicted immigrant, right? Undocumented immigrant. Let me be clear with the words. Undocumented should not be allowed to stay in the United States if they are a convicted violent criminal.
Huh.
Pritzker also said,
shocker.
He will defend the migrants who have arrived in the Chicago area in the last 2 years. He said, quote, I have an obligation to protect them, and says the laws in Illinois just do that.
That guy is just such a tool. Check out this quick video with the border czar.
The Trump administration's border czar says it's game on come January 21st.
Tom Homan says that's the day deportations will start in Chicago. He even talked about prosecuting the mayor of Chicago if he stands in the way of ICE. Our Noel Brennan joins us from the newsroom. Noel, Homan made those comments last night during an event in Portage Park.
Right, Erica. And at least one Chicago alderman was there. Another says he met with Tom Homan before the event. Both want to see the city and state work with ICE. But words from the incoming border czar are also stoking fear in the immigrant community.
This is great.
It's a warm reception for the man promising ICE enforcement in Chicago.
You're going to start right here in Chicago, Illinois.
Tom Homan, President-elect Trump's border czar, spoke at a Republican holiday party on the Northwest Side Monday night. Homan is tasked with the biggest deportation effort in U.S. history.
If the fellow mayor is our son, but if he evades us, if he knowingly harbors, conceals, or illegal alien, I will prosecute.
Yes.
Let's go, Brandon Johnson, to prison.
They're not after dreamers. They're after the criminal element first. They're not. Made it perfectly clear. They're going after the criminal element first. They're not after dreamers. They're after the criminal element first.
So I think that is wildly important to understand. And what I keep seeing from mainstream media is they're going to scoop in and they're going to grab these children right out of classes. They're going to scoop in and they're just going to take these families, pick these families apart at Christmas dinner. We're going to send the SEALs in. We're going to send the Air Force in, and we're just going to scoop up family after family after family. That is not what the agenda is. The agenda is to focus on illegal immigrants who have committed crimes, that are known criminals, that have pending charges, whatever it might be, associating them with crime. Those are the folks that are being targeted. Not everyday working class folks, but they want to instill fear in you that they're going after everybody. The logistics of that simply aren't possible. They're not a reality. Even in 4 years, to try and kick out 10 million people, not gonna happen. Period.
38th Ward Alderman Nicholas Pizzato heard it firsthand.
January 21st. Catch and release ends.
Yes.
He even captured part of Homan's speech on camera.
And they're not too happy with our governor and our mayor about protecting these criminals, and they're going to work it from there.
15th Ward Alderman Ray Lopez says he met with Homan before the event and shared the moment on X, formerly Twitter.
he wants to work with the city of Chicago, with law enforcement, to identify just those specific individuals who are choosing to commit violent, dangerous crimes in our neighborhoods.
It's disheartening.
Claudia Marchand, Executive Director of Northern Illinois Justice for Our Neighbors, hears a message of fear and divisiveness from Homan. She wants to remind immigrants in Illinois of their constitutional rights and of local laws that restrict how police can collaborate with ICE.
Know your rights in your home, know your rights in the car, at work, in public spaces, right? We have to go through all of these steps to ensure that folks know, hey, you are protected.
Homan says ICE enforcement will be targeted, and it begins January 21st.
If you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table.
You're not off the table. You know what's absolutely insane about all this? We shouldn't be here in the first place. We shouldn't be having this discussion. We shouldn't have let in 7 million, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. Who knows? Because we lost track. We lost count. 500,000 kids. Who knows how many girls are being sex trafficked right now because of the current administration's just free-for-all with the southern border. We shouldn't be having this conversation. This should be a non-issue. And yet here we are. And we're having to do some massive cleanup come January 21st. So, this was one of the huge reasons that Democrats lost so badly in the 2024 elections, because so many Democrats are looking around in their own communities going, our leadership is protecting these criminals and giving them money, and we're not getting anything. We're getting less housing. We're getting less support. We're getting, all of this stuff is being taken from them because you've only got so much in the way of resources. And when, like, the city of Chicago spends $573 million on the illegals, that's money in a budget that is negative you don't have. So literally, Let's Go Brandon Johnson threw out a $300 million tax increase, and the city basically just collectively said, no. So is Brandon Johnson, is Mike Johnston, are any of these guys actually going to do any pushback at all? Absolutely not. These are the weak-ass Democratic mayors that will do nothing but monkey up and muck up their own cities just by shooting themselves in the foot. They're not going to push back. The only thing they're capable of is just creating policy that is horrific. When somebody comes in with actual policy, which is, hey, we're going to deport criminals, they're not going to do jack about that. Because if they do that, their own constituents who are already got them by the throat saying, what are you doing? They're not going to go down these roads. They're all talk. They're big bark. You get the headlines, you get the stories. But if you dig right down, you put Homan up against Mike Johnston. You put Homan up against Let's Go Brandon Johnson to prison. I'm going to start calling him that now. It's not a fight. It's a small, tiny little child versus a fully grown male adult. That's the fight. And that's not a fight at all. And come January 21st, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be exciting. Let the games begin. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.